Hey everyone, it's 10 Types, and today I'm going to be ranking all the cards in Pokemon TCG Pocket that we know so far. Keep in mind we don't know all the rules, but we know a bunch of them. I'm going to make a video on what the rules are at some point, probably pretty soon, but I just haven't gotten a chance to make it, and I want to make sure it's like as accurate as possible with good speculation, because there's some stuff we pretty much know. There's some stuff that I've heard that might not be true. I mean, I've heard different things, and other people have speculated, so I want to try to figure that stuff out. But pretty much, it's simplified. There are not well, okay, there are supporters and items there, which I think function the same as normal, essentially. But then there are not steams and tools, which kind of makes sense. Let's be honest, in standard, they're not that important. They're like kind of important, but compared to items and supporters, they're not that important. And then there's Pokemon. There are no energy cards. There's an energy zone, and there are no prize cards. There's just prize points. This allows you to smooth out deck consistency, meaning that you're going to brick less. There's actually some really good changes to the game, I think, that people have actually been asking for the regular TCG for a while. Um, People have had issues with the way prizing works for various reasons, so that's not going to be a thing anymore. Not that it's not interesting, but they've chosen to remove it. It simplifies it, but also it does remove the issue of like prize checking and stuff. And then also, I don't believe there's like deck searching. I don't know, but so far we haven't seen that. And then the decks, I believe, are 20 cards, and the games are 5 minutes. I don't know if that's 5 minutes per player or 5 minutes in total. We'll find out. Hopefully not 5 minutes per player, because that's still kind of long. Anyways, whatever. So, then the cards, as I said, like energy works differently, but I mean, it's not that different, right? You don't need to get the energies in hand, but it's still like one per turn. Um, in pretty similar things. Evolution works the same. I don't know if there's rare candy. I don't think if it is a rare candy, well, I don't think there's going to be rare candy, to be honest. If it is, it's going to be nerfed in some potential. And you probably won't be able to play 4 copies in your 20 card deck, and you probably can't search it out. So don't rely on rare candy. But yeah, here are the cards. I'm just going to start chucking stuff in here. We got a bunch of cards, and by the way, I'm going to be looking at, I can like kind of read these, but not that well. So the ones, hopefully I'll be able to figure out what they all do. And I'm going to be looking at Pokebeach, which has like card translations and stuff. But yeah, so I'll say a bunch of them I'll just say right off the bat have, like we got Bellsprout here. Oh, I can't zoom in. But it does 60 HP and does for 1 energy 20 damage. I'm gonna put that in C tier right away. I feel like that's pretty normal. There's a ton of Pokemon that do this. It's gonna be it looks like the baseline. This Squirtle's the same. I guess I'll put it here, but we've seen it. It's just the same. So yeah, pretty boring stuff here. Magikarp, 30 HP, 10 for 1. Obviously, these Pokemon evolve, but I predict that it's going to be much harder to get cards, and so people will not be playing with anywhere near optimized decks. For example, in Standard, pretty much everyone's playing like an Ace-Spec card. I don't think Ace-Spec cards are going to be in Pocket, but if they were, not everyone would be playing them. I mean, not everyone on live plays with them, but when you're trying to win, you're playing with them generally, especially if you're like playing unranked or something. I feel like that's just like pretty much standard, but well, it's standard format, but it's like normal expected. Pocket, not everyone's going to be playing with the best cards, I'm assuming, based on the money situation, which we'll talk about at some point. We do not have that much info on that, but anyways, then we have so we got Clefairy, we um, got some other ones. So Mean Fu here is interesting. Weakness is plus 20. I think that's really good. The damage output is like lower in the Pokemon, but I'm going to put Machop in B tier at 70 HP instead of 60, which seems nice. And then Mean Fu does it for colorless energy, giving you a weakness spread, and I believe has 30 does 30 damage. Yeah, Limitless says that is 30, I guess. It looks similar to 20. I think they had a card mistranslated. But anyways, so I think Mean Fu is pretty good. If it's 30, I'm going to put in B tier, or like above Machop, which I think it is 30. But so that's pretty good. Then we also have, let's see, Tynamo is, we'll talk about Tynamo later. Pikachu is the same thing. Eevee is the same thing. It doesn't hit weakness but it is colorless energy. I'm going to say it is below the others because it doesn't hit weakness. And then I think that's it for those 60. Also, again, sorry if there's background noise. 60 HP basics that do 20 for 1. We have Sizzlipede, which is 10 for 1. Fire, as I said, weakness is not times 2. It is plus 20. I don't think I said it was plus 20, but it is plus 20. So that means that it will be doing more than if you deny. So it's like a weakness tech, I guess, but I think it's still bad. I'm going to put it in C tier, which is like not very good, right? Then we have some that are Slowpoke, which is 30 for 2 and 70 HP. I think that's not very good. You could play it, but it doesn't seem great. Then I'll talk about the Slowbro here, which is 80 for 3, 130 HP. Actually, no, I'll wait later. I'm just going to go through all the basics. Bulbasaur is 40 for 2 and 70 HP. I think this is solid. It's nothing insane, but I think it seems all right. Probably put it here. I am going to order the tiers somewhat. I mean, I'm not going to order the weaknesses. I don't know enough about that. But yeah, and then we have Vulpix. Vulpix is pretty interesting here as like a stall Pokemon. I've made a video on control and stall. I don't believe you can deck out, but Vulpix says flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's active Pokemon can't attack next turn. It only has 50 HP though, so it's I don't know. It's going to be getting knocked out a bunch, but I do think it is a solid Pokemon that is playable, so I'm going to put it in B tier. Again, this is speculation, but this list will give you an idea, especially for people who just don't know what to expect at all from Pocket. I think this will be an okay list. Aber here has 60, but its attack, oh, I don't know where its attack is, to be honest. But anyway, I believe it says you switch to the bench, so yeah, it's got to be somewhere around here. But yeah, it says you switch to the bench, which is like okay. Um, it's obviously not like anything insane though. Like switching to the bench is good, but there are better things, right? So yeah, I'm trying to find the pocket. Oh, here we go. We got the pocket info. No, that's not the pocket info. We got the pocket info here. Here we go. So yeah, it switches to the bench. That's not great, I don't think. I mean, it does give you survivability, but also like that's one tree. I'm gonna put it in D tier. I don't think it's very good. Next up, we have ourselves in terms of basics Tynamo, which I mentioned earlier, which does 30 for 1 lightning, which is okay. It only has 30 HP though, which is obviously low, and it does have a 1 retreat cost. I think this card is okay. I'm gonna put it at the top of C tier. Obviously, low HP is really bad, but being able to hit an extra damage is good. Or an extra 10 damage, right? So I think this card's okay. Kind of fun being able to hit some more damage. Obviously, super low HP, but it's okay. It's not anything super special. Then we got Psyduck. Psyduck's a pretty interesting Pokemon. This one's really hard to judge. It does 10 for 1 colorless. It is water, and your opponent can't play any supporters from their hand next turn. I said Sizzlipede was not great, but not like terrible. It's like in the same tier as these other ones. This has that plus more supporter locking. I think this card's really good. Again, it's really hard to say for now. I'll put it below Minfu, but it also is a weakness tech. So if you're looking for like weakness techs, it's okay. It's not great. It's not a great weakness tech, but it is okay. And then you have the supporter locking, which could be insane. Not exactly sure how good the supporters are. We have seen 3, although Brock, yeah, we'll talk about that one. It doesn't actually do anything just yet. It works with certain Pokemon that we don't have, but whatever. That is, it is what it is, right? So, yeah, I think Psyduck's okay. Then we got Lapras, which we got this fancy art. I don't know what art this is, what like type art this is called, but Hydro Pump for 1 water. If this Pokemon has at least 3 waters attached to it, so 3 in total, it does 70 more. So that's gonna be 90 for, no, sorry, 3 extra. So 90 for 4. That's okay. I mean, you get 100 HP. You do have a 2 retreat cost. I don't think this is a bad Pokemon. I don't think we've seen any acceleration to it, but we might get acceleration to it. I'm going to put it in B tier. I think it's okay. I mean, its stats are like solid. It's certainly better than Machop here. It's better than Bulbasaur, so I'll put it right in the middle of B tier here. Then we have I'm going to skip the EXs for now as well. I'll cover those at the end. We got we got Electabuzz and Pincushion. Electabuzz is interesting here with its coin flip attack, which has a question mark on it in the Pokebeach's translation, which, by the way, I think these are right, but they could be wrong. It is, Pokebeach understands they might be wrong, so that is why there's a question mark. But if 40, if heads, it does 40 more. That's a bunch. Otherwise, if tails, it does 20 to itself. So 80 for 2 is really good. 40 and then 20 to yourself for 2 is obviously bad. This card, I mean, 40 for 2 like and 30 to yourself is bad, but it's not like the worst. I think this is a B tier card. You got the higher HP, which doesn't matter too much because you might be self-damaging, but I do think this card is okay. Not bad. Could be good, obviously, depending on the coin flip, though. Then we got Pincushion, which is pretty interesting here because it is also a coin flip card, 30 for 2, but on heads it does inflicts paralysis. Presumably that works the same way as it does in standard. You can't retreat, you can't attack, it wears off after a turn. But if you evolve or switch out some way, which I imagine there's some way to do that, then Pincushion will then paralysis will wear off. So that's okay. I think this is solid. Not super dependable. It's kind of like Vulpix. I do think it is better than Vulpix. I'll actually I'll put it above Machop. Machop's like not great. I'll put this above Vulpix though. So yeah, Pincushion is okay. You know, paralysis is nice to buy some extra turns. The force not like super fast though, so buying one extra turn isn't like a massive deal. It's good, obviously, and if you buy multiple, like 2, 3 extra turns, that's really good. But also, just buying one extra turn isn't gonna it's not going to like completely swing the game into your favor. Then we got ourselves what's the next basic? We got Hitmonlee. Hitmonlee is one of my favorite Pokemon. It does 30 to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon for one fighting. Now this is presumably I don't know if it hits weakness on the bench. Obviously this doesn't matter. There is no resistance, but yeah, I'm not sure. Right now, I'd guess yes. I don't know. In like standard, you don't hit weakness on the bench by default, but it also always says, and they're trying to simplify things. There's a Greninja somewhere. I'm not sure where it is, but I mean, there's a Greninja here, but it's kind of blurry. But anyway, so they're removing like damage counters. You just do damage instead of placing damage counters. So they are simplifying some things that are a little complicated. So it might hit weakness on the bench. It doesn't change things a ton, but it changes them some. But I think 30 for 1 snipe is good. You can't hit the active, so we'll see exactly how much of the time you want to be playing down Pokemon. But 30 for 1, good. 80 HP, good. I think this Pokemon's really good and one of my favorite Pokemon so far. I'm going to put it in A tier. I don't think it's broken. Actually, I'll put it in S tier. I think it's really good. I'm going to move Minfu and Psyduck up as well. Next we got Eevee. Oh, Eevee also goes here. Oops, I didn't see that. Then we have Chansey. We got Snorlax, and we have a bunch of colorless Pokemon. We have Kangaskhan as well. But Chansey here, 60 for 3 and has 120 HP. This seems pretty solid. 60, obviously good against all these Pokemon that have 60 HP. And then 120 HP seems pretty good. 3 Retreat obviously isn't great, but it is all colorless. I think Chansey is a solid B tier Pokemon. Nothing insane here, but I think it's good. Not bad at all. Next, we got ourselves the Kangaskhan Dizzy Punch. It has 100 HP, and for one colorless, you flip 2 coins. It does 30 for each heads, so an average of 30 for one colorless, 100 HP. This is really solid. Obviously, coin flips make it less consistent. You have the potential to take a turn 1 knockout, but that's not super likely. I think this card is very good, though. I think I'm going to put it in A tier because it's very efficient, has high HP, nothing like insane, but it's solidly high. It can attack quickly. It's just very consistent. Its 3 retreat isn't like an issue because, as I said, you're going to be attacking quickly. And so I think Kangaskhan is just a really, really solid Pokemon that will see play based on its current state. We talked about Eevee. We'll talk about Snorlax next. This has 150 HP, 70 for 4. I think this is worse than Chansey. 30 more HP is nice, obviously, but having 1 more energy for only 10 more damage doesn't seem great. It does give you like some options, but I don't think they're particularly great options. So yeah, I'm going to leave this card in B tier near the bottom. It has 4 retreat, so it just stuck there, and it's good, I guess, as a wall behind the setup-based decks, but maybe it is better than I'm giving it credit for, but also it's like not an attacker at all, and so I am not a big fan of this card. I think it's kind of funny. It can be used, as I said, as a wall. Maybe I'll move it up a few spots. I'm going to move Bulbasaur down. I feel like Bulbasaur isn't very good. So I'll put it above Bulbasaur here. It's not like a bad card. It will depend on how setup-based the format is, and if it is very setup-based and you can afford to give a prize in the early game to get a much better board state, then Snorlax will be really good, but I don't know. I feel like Chansey's attacks better, Kangaskhan's attacks better, so not a massive fan of the card. Let's do ourselves Wooloo. This Pokemon, 30 for 2, 70 HP. Pretty boring here. Not like the worst, but it's not great. Looks like this is the first Pokemon like that. Obviously, it's worse than Bulbasaur. I'm going to put it at the top of C, I guess, like below Dynamo. It's really boring. Yeah. Then we got Farfetch'd. Farfetch'd is pretty insane. I think this is a very good card. Where is Farfetch'd? Anyway, Farfetch'd just does. I have no idea where Farfetch'd is. So oh, I found it. 40 for 1 and has 6 HP. Also weak to lightning. So this Pokemon I think is really good. I mean, 40 for 1, that's insane. That's so much damage. It's colorless. This card seems kind of bonkers. Just twice as much damage as like the base default stat line. Yes, it doesn't evolve. Actually, I don't. Wait. How does it work? I don't remember if because I don't remember, like I haven't played with Farfetch'd much. Does Farfetch'd evolve into Surfetch'd or is it Galarian Farfetch'd? Anyways, I think it's Galarian Farfetch'd. Um, but whatever. So this doesn't evolve, but also it's just good, right? I mean, it's just a good Pokemon because it has really good stat line. We also haven't seen Galarian or Alolan Pokemon, so yeah. Um, Yeah, sorry, there is Galarian Farfetch'd. I was like checking. I was like, yeah, I thought there was, but anyways, I don't play the video games, by the way, if you're wondering. Although I figured you could figure that one out. Next, we got ourselves Meowth. This one is interesting. One colorless, draw one. I don't believe you can deck out, and it has 6 HP. I think this is okay as a setup Pokemon. I'm gonna put it in honestly A tier. I think setup is really good, and I think this is what I try to set up behind, as you can get extra cards in your hand to make sure you can get evolving and pull off your combos. I think it's solid. We haven't seen any other attacks like this, so far this card's pretty insane, but also it's I don't know. I mean, it just we're gonna see more cards like this, but it is good. Right now, I think it is a very good card. Next up, we got ourselves the Grimer. Grimer is not great. This Pokemon does, well, I don't know, it's 10 in Poison, 4 in Darkness, 7 HP. It's not like that bad. It does have 3 retreat as well. Most of these, oh, yeah, these all have 1 retreat, but no, you're able to sorry, I'm looking at the. This is okay. You do hit weakness in some form, which is nice. So you get the weakness advantage. You do inflict poison. I'm gonna put this at the top of B tier because also sorry if my voice is bad. I'm yet again mildly sick, as is the case in all my videos. But Grimer is definitely a Pokemon that is solid. You know, I don't think it's anything insane, but I think it's pretty solid. Um, Meltan next. What this guy? What's it do? Oh, okay. You can extort a metal from your energy zone to this Pokemon, which is just search your deck for an energy essentially, but a little better. It's a little different, but essentially the same thing. I think this card's like solid. I guess I don't know. I'm gonna put it at the bottom of B tier. I mean, it all exclusively depends on how good the male metal is. So it's yeah. I don't know. I mean, this one you can't really rate very well, but it's there. Yep. We got Dratini, which for water lightning does 70. I don't know how the energy zone works. This like really could depend on that. I'm gonna put it on the bottom of B tier. As I said, it really depends on how the energy zone works because it doesn't have any weakness, which is nice, and has 1 retreat. But also, if you can't like get the energy on very easily, then it's bad. Next we got our stage ones. Let's talk about those. The stage ones are pretty interesting. To me, those are the most interesting cards, I guess. Stage twos, I think, are going to be kind of hard to get into play. Stage ones are going to be like you can get them into play. I feel like that's where things are going to be with the format. So yeah, that's just what I'm expecting. But yeah, anyways, so we got ourselves the Slowbro, which does 80 for 3 and has 130 HP. That stat line seems fine. It seems pretty solid. It is 3 energy, but I think you can get that on before you get knocked out. I think it's an okay Pokemon. I'll put it at the bottom of B tier. Metapod, 30 for 2 colors, 80 HP, stage 1. This seems bad. I'm going to put this in C tier at the bottom of C tier. I don't think it's like completely unplayable, but it doesn't seem good. Next, actually no, I'm gonna put it in D tier. I think it's bad. Next we got Vaporeon. I love this card. It does 60 for 3 colorless versus Slowbro was 80 for psychic colorless. So this is mostly colorless, and it does, as I said, 60, and then you heal 30 from itself. It does 130 HP, again like Slowbro, but I think this is pretty tanky. It's essentially more tanky than Snorlax. It's one of the most tanky Pokemon in the game, assuming you're not getting one-shot at it, which I don't think you are. So I think Vaporeon is a great Pokemon. I'm going to put it in A tier, the top of A tier. I think it's very good. I don't think it's quite broken, but I think it's good. Next, we got ourselves Raichu. This is one that I'm not entirely sure about. This is one of the first evolutions. We have Slowbro, which evolves from Slowpoke. We have Raichu, which evolves from Pikachu, and I think that's it. We do have So we have Gardevoir, which evolves from Curly up, but we've not overalls. So yeah. Anyway, Raichu is going to be hitting 140 for 3 lightning. You discard all energy from this Pokemon. That's pretty expensive. It's like a one-time attacker. I'm not a big fan of it. It does have one retreat cost. I think it's going to cause issues. I will put it like at the bottom of B tier. I don't think it's a terrible card. It has high upside, some of the highest we've seen for taking one shots, but also it's really it's a one-time attacker. I'm not a big fan of it. Maybe it's an okay card. I guess I'll put it in like somewhere in the middle of B tier, high B tier, but I don't think it's an amazing card. We'll see, but I'm not a big fan of it unless we see some good energy acceleration, in which case then things change. Curlia, 30 for 2, 80. I mean, this is bad. This is just directly worse than Metapod. It's really bad. I guess it does have a lower retreat, but also, like come on. Then we got Haunter, 80, but then 30 for no. Yeah, 30 for 1. I'm going to put this in the top of C tier. It's like, okay, not sure what to say. Then we got Primeape, which is actually really good. This one says oh, by the way, the art is reused on some cards. We'll see if that sticks around. We'll see exactly what's happening with the arts. But anyway, 2 fighting, and it does 40, but if it has damage counters on it, it does 60 more. Just one thing, 40 for 2 is not bad, right? It's okay. It's pretty solid, but then 100 for 2 is insane. I think this card's pretty insane. It's kind of like not as much damage as Raichu, but it's close, and I think his card is going to be A tier. I'm going to put it at the bottom of A tier for now, but I do think it is a very, very powerful Pokemon that it's really strong, right? It's hitting 100 damage. If you don't get one shot, or if you don't get knocked down immediately after taking some damage, then you're just an absolute tank of a Pokemon. Or not tank, but just like you're really strong, right? You're going to be taking knockouts very easily. Then we got Aerodactyl. The coin flip, your opponent shuffles their active back into the deck. I think this is really bad because people aren't playing any energies in their deck, or supporters, or tools, so they're going to have just Pokemon, like mostly Pokemon, honestly, I think. So you're never going to like bench your opponent out. It does remove energies, and like if they're setting up a Raichu in the active, or like Snorlax or whatever, then it like is annoying, but it's not even that good. It does have one retreat, but I don't think this card's very good. I think it's D tier. It was funny. It's like a control card, but also it's kind of bad. Next, we got Gardevoir for Stage 2. And this one essentially just is an energy acceleration Pokemon, saying once during your turn, you may take one psychic energy from your energy zone and attach it to the psychic Pokemon in the active spot. This is meant to pair with a Mewtwo EX, which we'll talk about in just a minute. This is good, I think. I think stage 2s are awkward. I'm going to put it in the top of B tier. I think it is pretty strong. No, I'm going to put it in the bottom of A tier. I think it's pretty strong, kind of hard to set up, but does have good value. It does, of course, depend how good the psychic Pokemon are, but Gardevoir Mewtwo is definitely a clear deck that they want us to play. Next, we got Greninja. This card is good. I believe it's mistranslated here. It says, it does 60 for 2, which is pretty good. Oh, Gardevoir does 60 for 3, which is not great, but 60 for 2 here is very solid, and it's one water, one colorless. I suppose Gardevoir 60 for 3 is not that bad when you're accelerating energy stuff, so maybe it's fine. Anyways, Greninja 60 for 2. Once during your turn, you may do 20 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. I don't know if this is mistranslated or if like it was just blurry or if it got changed. I don't exactly know what happened, but it is 20. So that's still pretty good. 20 extra damage every single turn seems really solid with spread. I like this card a ton. I'm going to put it just below Gardevoir here. I think it is good. Depends how good or easy stage 2s are to set up and how many of these you can get in play, but this could be really insane. And you just hide behind a Snorlax, or you have like some Pokemon sniping or some Pokemon tanking, as I said, with Snorlax or Vaporeon or whatever. So I think Greninja is really insane. Last stage 2 we got is it's Pidgeot. I don't know where Pidgeot is. So sorry. I'm tired. I don't know why I'm like tired. I guess because I'm feeling kind of bad. But wing attack 70 for 2 colors. Very, very good. Drive off. Oh, also 130 HP. This is like a fancy art as well. This art I think is pretty cool. The style's kind of weird though. But drive off once during a turn, you may switch out your points active to the bench. But this is solid. I'm forcing them to the bench. I don't know exactly how useful this is, but you don't have to do it. The attack's good. I'm going to put this Pokemon just above Gardevoir. Again, I think the stage 2s, it's hard to say right now because it really does depend on how the game works, how the meta works. But I do think it does. Yes, it just depends a lot, right? So it's really hard to rank them right now, especially without a lot of knowledge of the trainers, of which we have 4. I don't know. I thought we had 3. I missed Sabrina. Yeah, we got Moltres EX next, and Moltres EX has this attack here, which says it lets you accelerate energies from your 3 coin flips for each heads. Take a fire energy from your energy zone and attach it to one of your bench fire Pokemon in any way you like. And it has 70 for 3, which you can accelerate, and has 140 HP. That HP is like solid. Maybe it's good. I'm not entirely sure. No, it's solid. I think this card is okay. I think it's pretty good. I'm gonna put an A tier near the bottom. I think there are cards better than it, but it is a very solid card. Presumably the EXs are going to be hard to get, and you won't be playing with them too much though. So we'll see. Next we got ourselves Mewtwo EX. Mewtwo EX has 2 attacks. It also has 150 HP, which seems really high. 50 for 2, and then for 4 it does 150. Discard 2 Psychic from this Pokemon. It is, as I said, intended to be played with Guard Void to accelerate the energies, but I think the first attack's okay. Its HP is high. I'm going to put it in A tier as well, although I don't think it's anything insane. Next, we got Pikachu EX. I think Pikachu EX is really good. It has 120 HP, and it does 30 for each of your bench lightning Pokemon, which is going to be 90, because you can have 3 bench Pokemon. But that's really good at 90 for 2. It does have 1 retreat, so I think this card's very good. I'm going to put it at the top of A tier, pretty close to the top. Or somewhere in the middle of A tier. Put it right here. I think it is very good. We haven't seen any cards to work with it. By the way, EXs give up 2 prizes, so pretty much what we'd expect. They are prize points, not prize cards, which I said earlier. But anyways, then we got Articuno EX, which is here. It says 40 for 2, 140 HP, Blizzard, 80 to 10 of, sorry, 80, and then 10 to each your opponent's. Sorry, I saw something on my phone. 10 to each your opponent's bench Pokemon. And so that is okay. It's not a ton of spread. Maybe this is intended to be played with Greninja. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not a big fan of this. I'm going to put it in like middle of B tier. I don't think it's a bad card, but I don't know. Not my favorite EX so far. Lastly, we have Charizard EX, which is our only evolution EX, and is a stage 2. This one says, where is it? I guess it's in the regular cards. So it does 200 for 4, discard 2 fire, and then 60 for 3 at 180 HP. This seems like okay, but it's a lot of setup. It seems like its value is only okay. I'm going to put this at the top of B tier, but I think the card's good, but it will require a lot of setup and kind of awkward. You could do Moltres EX, Charizard EX, and maybe that's what you're supposed to do. I know it's kind of intended, but I'm not a big fan. Next, Pokeball. This one, I think, says, from what I heard, this might not be true, but search your deck for a random basic Pokemon, put it onto your bench, I think. So it's like randomized nest ball. I think this is pretty good. It's a little hard to rank the trainers. It's literally the only item in the entire game, right? So as of now, I'll put it in A tier, the top of A tier. It's really hard to say. We need to see some other cards, but I think it's good. Then we have Brock, or wait, what's Brock? Is it just called Brock, or is it Brock something? It is just Brock. Take a fighting energy from your energy zone and attach it to your Onyx or Golem. I mean, like, what? I think this is okay. I'll put it in top of B tier. I don't know. We don't know Onyx or Golem, but it seems okay. Then we have Erica, which is heal 50 from one of your grass Pokemon. And this seems pretty good. I think healing's nice. We haven't really seen any good grass Pokemon, so maybe they'll all be bad, just like the regular TCG. But I'm going to put this in A tier, bottom of A tier. I think this card's okay. The last supporter here is going to be Sabrina, forcing your opponents active to the bench. I think this card's utility is pretty good. Pidgeot EX is okay, but it's a stage 2, which is not great. So I'm going to put Sabrina in A tier as well, right below Vaporeon and Mienfoo. But here you go. Oh, this looks super ugly. I'm going to move Pokeball to the top tier so it looks better. And I'll move Slowbro down just so it looks. No, that doesn't look better. Whatever. We're sticking out like this. So no, I want this tier list to look better, so I'm gonna make stuff move to these. There we go. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry, I'm feeling a little under the weather, but I hope you enjoyed. Consider liking and subscribing. Also, join the channel to support me. But I hope you enjoyed. And as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.